I am tired. Just landed back in Sri Lanka, beautiful home sweet home. From Singapore, came back after spikes, and today was an interesting day for me. Today it was my last day in Singapore. Our flight was at 8 Singapore time. We landed at 9:30. It is now almost 1 o'clock in the morning. I was doing a little bit of work, and I'm just about to bed down. I wanted to share this story of what happened today. So my mom is an avid gardener, right? So she actually asked me to pick up some seeds, some plant seeds, very specific. And I should have done it on Saturday. I had a day off on Saturday as well, and I slept late because I was tired. I mean, obviously we'd been out and so on, and I kind of spent a lazy day. I didn't do it. I didn't focus on it. So I felt really bad today, and I was convinced that I was being a selfish son. So I spent the morning running around, trying to find these elusive plant seeds, and of course, nowhere in Singapore can I find that sells them, the particular ones I want. And so I head on to Orchard Road, and I start looking for places, or walk into the malls and start asking people. And here was the interesting thing. Um, I was polite and I said, "Hello, excuse me, good morning, excuse me. Could you help me find da da da?" And people would say, "Yes, of course, we'll try and help you," blah blah blah, but they wouldn't get too involved. And this continued, and I went from place to place to place, and I noticed that people were trying to be helpful, but they weren't necessarily pushing themselves to be. And when I walked into one of these like large malls, I had never been in there before, so I went up to the security guard and I said, "Excuse me, I'm sorry to trouble you, but would you happen to know if they sell plant seeds here?" I said, "No, have." So he was obviously not in a good mood. Maybe he's, security, right? So it can't be an easy job. And so I was like, okay, fine. Clearly you're busy. You can't talk. And I was about to walk out, but I was still like, I really need to know. I need some direction to go in because Orchard Road, as you may know, is huge, right? I needed some direction, and I was running out of time because I had to get back to the hotel, pack up, and then go to the airport. So there was this moment where I just turned back around. I looked at that same guard and I said, okay, I'm going to tell him why I want the plant seeds, and let's see if he's just a little bit more willing to help. And so I went up to him and I said, I'm really sorry to trouble you again. But see, the thing is, uh, m- I'm Sri Lankan and I'm flying back to Sri Lanka today in a few hours. And my mom asked me to find these plant seeds for her, and I can't seem to find them. Um, as a son, like, could you help me out? And his attitude was completely different. He's like, yeah, yeah, you know, plant seed, why don't you try going to this place? It's like, thank you, thanks, man. And I went across, and then I went down there, and I did the same thing. We went into the supermarket, and then the ladies were stacking, and I asked them, "Excuse me, ladies, I'm really sorry to trouble you." And I said the same thing, and I said, "Could you help me find seeds for my mom?" And because I made the story personal, because I said why I needed the seeds, or for that matter, anything, and not just ask for it, um, it humanized the situation. And ordinarily, I would have been very sort of unwilling to share that kind of information. I would think, yeah, that's too much information. People don't have the time to listen to all of that. They're really not interested. But lo and behold, when you give people a chance, and when you try to talk to them at a very human, basic level, when I told them about the fact that my mom had asked me to get something, I was struggling to find it, and could they help me? Because obviously my mom is important to me. The importance of family is something we can all understand. It's a universal human thing, right? On some level, I mean, whether we've had parents, or whether we've been brought up by guardians, or whether we've had close friends, we understand that concept of togetherness that comes from family. So, like that, there are certain human themes. And if you're brave enough, if you have the courage to sort of tell your story, the why you may need help, then the person from whom you are asking help is more likely to help you. And look at it this way, okay? Try to look at it this way. When you ask for help, you actually give someone else the opportunity to do something good. And that's good for them, right? They do something good by helping you. And you've done something good by giving them the opportunity to help you. Try to think of it that way the next time. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And don't be afraid to say why you want help. Because people can surprise you. And I wanted to tell you this before the night was up. And before I bedded down for the evening. I just felt that it was a story that needed to be told, and it needed to be told with a bleary-eyed expression on my face because I am so tired. And it's Monday, and it's might be a long week. Ugh. Ah. But anyway, sometimes stories just have to be told. This is another long video, and I'm gonna wrap up now and say I hope you're all sleeping well. I hope you have a great week, and don't forget to ask for help. And always say why. At the end of the day, we're all human, and we all deserve a chance to remember that.